Hello and welcome to our review of the Halcyon 6 by Massive Damage Inc. And Halcyon 6 is a indie RPG simulation strategy. That's kind of a mouthful. So yeah, it is very RPG-like, especially the combat system is very reminiscent of all the Final Fantasies. And then there's a bit of simulation and strategy as you build your Halcyon 6 Starbase, make some new ships, and do all kinds of stuff like that. And then I also just manage the galaxy and try to keep it in one piece. So the premise of the game is that you are part of the New Terran Federation, and you've discovered this Halcyon 6 alien starbase here, a precursor artifact. And just when you start researching it, these nasty bug creatures, or whatever they are, the cruel attack and basically wipe out the whole of New Terran Federation. As you can see, also these facilities are ruined, and there has been some stuff going on. And the whole Terran fleet basically gets wiped out, and you are left as the commander of the Halcyon 6 with basically nothing, and you just need to rebuild from there. And eventually you meet your neighboring pirates, who actually I have pretty much killed. And there's only the Shriekers left because I made a deal with them. And then you meet all the other aliens around here. And there's some more. And you deal with the aliens. They attack you every now and then. Their rogue elements attack you, not sanctioned by their governments or anything. And they tell you to kill them, and you get the diplomatic rewards with them. For example, here, if you look at the collective, you get diplomacy points with them, which affects stuff later in the game. And you can also make the diplomacy go very low and make them angry at you and make them your enemies, and you have to fight them. But yeah, let's look at the game a bit more. So up here you have your resources, your crew, your materials, dark matter, and fuel. And fuel is needed, of course, to fly around the galaxy. Crew is needed for shipbuilding, same as with the dark matter. Materials and dark matter is used for upgrades and for a base construction. Also for tech unlocking. And you get materials by fighting fights and winning them, doing quests, like here are some of the quests I have, and completing these will give you some resources. There's a time limit on some of them. Sometimes when the crew attack a lot of places, like these guys at the moment here are attacking the Alpha Delphini, and if I don't kill them in time, they will destroy my colony who is producing crew. So we need to take care of them. And sometimes when you have a lot of stuff going on, especially later game, running after these X days left gets really annoying. There's also notifications we have here. So, yeah, the bases are under attack, and then you have event queue down here that shows when things are getting done. Down here I have my officers. I'll show you more about those in a moment. And let's just take a tour of the things. So here's my starbase, and this was touted as the XCOM-like base building, and it is very XCOM-like in the sense that you have to explore new parts here to explore rooms and open them. You get resources from doing that. There might be angry aliens in there, and you have to fight them in melee combat, and then you build rooms you worry about the power and all kinds of things as you go doing things. Here you can see power used and all the things we can build. You see they use the materials power and all the other stuff. And we have quite a lot of stuff here built already. Also, the rooms work as stations for upgrading. So for example, here is my repair cost reduction building with passive repair as well. So we can make our repairs cheaper and faster. And we have a ship terminal here, or a ship hangar, and you can make faster ship construction here and different upgrades for all the ships of this tier. You have different tiers of ships, and each of them have their own hangar. Like here we have a different hangar with a cheaper, faster construction and all the upgrades for those ships. Different tasks also require an officer. Like this one requires at least level 4 officer, and the higher levels, of course, they require higher levels. They also have a preference, like this is tactical, so any officer can do this research here. Like I could put biomex in there and it's only 6 days. But if I put a say Halfdansken, who is a tactical, it's 3 days. So matching the correct type will make that much faster. And this is basically how you upgrade your base. You build power, you clear out rooms, you make all the necessary things in there. There's also rooms like this mattress replication, where you can have a guy just produce more and more materials. So when you have excess officers, you can put one of them to work on creating materials. There's a guy recruiting new crew and stuff like that. There's basically one for each material, except the fuel. There's this fuel plant for fuel that produces 1 fuel per day, so you don't need to work on that. And that's basically your Halcyon 6 Starbase. You get unlock more upgrades later in the game, and you can build more things, and you need to explore more. Some of these rooms require higher level officers, so I haven't explored these yet on this save, because I don't have the high level officer to do it yet. And here's the tech tree of the game. So you can unlock all kinds of things here, like I've done the fuel plant, the reactor, crew labs, and all the ship upgrades also are located here, and also the different ship types. So I've done like this line here and there, and here is your hangar. So you unlock new things in here. They cost different materials, and you need to of course get the previous ones. So I'm gonna research this if I had the materials, and then go down this way. So it's fairly simple research system, but it's always quite nice when you get the next tier of ships and get the upgrade. And as for the ships, here's the ship construction. So we can build all the ships in here. As I said, they require a bit of a crew and a bit of dark matter, and you can see their powers and their stats and all of them here. You can see the different types available for you. And I usually have, when I play through the game myself, I had one really good fleet and maybe one extra ship that was kind of recycled. When my better guys moved to the next tier, I get one of the old ships and someone else used the old crappier ship. And here's your ship management. And you can rename the ships. You can also rename your characters. So that's always fun when you have your friends and enemies doing things, I guess. And you can remove and scrap the officers, the ships in here as well, and move them around. Like here's some of my old ships, tier 1 ships, and then my tier 2 ships and tier 3 ships, all still in there. And sometimes it's worth scrapping them for the crew. Crew is definitely the most precious resource you have. That seems to be always the most missing from me. And there's events that will kill your crew as well. Like they come and attack your station here and bombard the station, and keeps ticking a population down until you kill the invading group. And those definitely ate a lot of population from me during the gameplay. And then we have the officers here lastly. So your officers have levels, they have different stats. There are 3 different classes. So there's the science officer, tactical, and engineer. And they all have different abilities. And also they have some variants on the abilities inside the class as well. You might not have some of these abilities. Like this is a science officer, a level 9 science officer. You can see he has a nano restoration, spin maneuver, stasis lock, which are in-space abilities, or in-space combat, and then you have ground combat abilities like the battle stims, blood drive, delayed recovery, and psionic blast. If you compare that to my other science officer here, he has totally different abilities: ablative field, siphon dark matter, warp atomic, and then, well, these are mostly the same, but actually they're fairly different as well. Only the battle stims is the same between these characters. And when you hire or get a new officer, it gives you mostly gives you an option to random few times, so you can try to get a nice officer. But that's also one of the parts of the game that can really screw you over. If you random not so great officers, even with rerolls, the game might be really difficult for you, because some of these abilities are definitely much better than the others. For example, this nano restoration field is like a must for a science officer, which I think, yeah, he doesn't have it, so I think he's a lot worse officer in my opinion in that case, which is why he's my ground specialized officer instead of being one of my pilots. And that can really screw you over, in my opinion, if you don't get a nice one. Especially a nice officer who combos well with other officers and their abilities, and the ship abilities as well. And they gain experience as they do battles, they gain experience as they work on generating the materials or training crew or any of those tasks. So you can keep part of your crew just in the base, leveling up. There's also upgrades in here that can give you an extra officer, and then you can get the neural upgrades, which increase the experience gain, and then you can improve officer education, which automatically promotes new and existing officers to a certain level, which can be a really good way to pump up your officers who are lagging behind your well, your best officers. All right, let's get to the combat portion of the game then. So I'm gonna here send a fleet, and that's my trucker crew. So this is my main crew. I think I just upgraded better ships, so we'll get a ranger. Actually, let's do this again. So here's my healer, the witch, or kind of support ship. Then we have a ranger, which is a tier 3 tactical ship, which is one of the main, is like the main damage dealer. And then you have an engineering ship, which is basically the tank. So we'll put those in there. And you have 3 of the ships in your crew, and they have different abilities. So these are the spin maneuver, the stage lock, and the nano restoration field, which were his skill set. And then there's a disruption beam, incisor beam, ablative armor, torture, and system overload, which are from the witch ship. Same for these other guys as well. So you do get quite a lot of abilities from the ship as well, but these class skills definitely make a huge difference. Like I would say his best skills are these 3, and for him also a couple of these abilities are the best ones, and same here. But although the ranger has really good abilities. So we'll just launch the ship here, and it flies over to the other location. Here's one of my guys replicating materials, and you can just continue replicating those. The crew spawn these portals where they come and send their fleets, like they're just spawned a couple more, and you can send a fleet to destroy those portals, and you need to kind of do this galactic whack-a-mole and keep hitting these, removing those, and destroying the portals as you go. And later on in the game you get like these bigger behemoth ships that are more like a boss encounters. These are just basically like a trash enemies that you need to whack around the galaxy. And that's one of the complaints I have of the game as well, that it gets a bit grindy towards the end of the game. I definitely rushed the ending myself, because I didn't feel like just whack-a-moling them all over the galaxy, because it took a lot of time and effort and was not really difficult to wreck the ships. I was playing on the medium difficulty, which is the intended, the commander difficulty, and that felt a bit easy for me, but I do play a lot of these games, especially the normal enemies, just didn't pose any challenge, to be honest, towards the end of the game. Yeah, let's go into a fight here, and it can get really tedious trying to beat them all over the galaxy. You just fly around and hit them, then you just do your battle thing, and you definitely get this like a rhythm of abilities that you pretty much always just adhere to in combat, because you know what abilities combo with each other, and then you just keep doing those. So here is the combat system of the game, and it's very, very Final Fantasy RPGs. Your guys on the other side, your enemies on the other side, and you take turns. There's a turn already down here on the bottom, and you choose one of your abilities, use on the enemies, they use an ability on you, and so on and so on. So let's take a look at the abilities here. Let's look at for example, the stasis lock here. So this targets one single enemy, does some damage, there's a base hit chance, and it inflicts a ship disable, which is basically a stun. And it also exploits the weapon disruption. And the weapon disruption is another debuff that one of your ships can inflict, mainly the Ranger in this setup. And when you exploit an ability, when they have that debuff on, it lasts like several rounds, depending on the ability. And if you hit for example, if we hit an enemy who has a weapons disruption with this stasis lock, or a lot of these other abilities, because this ship really exploits weapon disruption, it does massively more damage. So the key of the combat system is really stacking debuffs on the enemies and then exploiting those when time comes. The debuffs also do provide all kinds of really nice benefits for you, like the weapon disruption is minus 25% damage, the sensors offline is minus 30% aim, so you sometimes, especially when you fight like the bigger ships, you might want to keep those debuffs on instead of exploiting them, because them not actually hitting you that hard or not even hitting at all if the aim penalty is too high. It's very, very nice to have. But sometimes when you stack some proper abilities together, you can just do just ridiculously high damage. Also, another key to winning these battles is very much stunning. The stun abilities are probably the best thing to look for in your crew, and that's why the specific skills become more important as well. Like this guy has the stasis lock, which is a stun ability, and it is his own ability, not one of the ship abilities. The ship itself doesn't actually have a stun. On the other hand, the engineer ship here does have actually the shock mines, which is a stun, but the character does not. So you kind of want to get a stun on each of the ships. I really like that throughout my playthrough. And my usual thing is to just start with a stun on all the enemies. And looking at here, I see like who is coming first, like this middle ship. I'm gonna stun whoever is the first, so let's start with that. And he's now stunned. So the ship disabled, there's a effect in there. And now he's out of the turn queue for a while and comes back when this wears off. Annoying part about having this turn queue here is, well, it's actually really nice to have that turn queue, but annoying thing is that sometimes the enemies have the same icons as their officers. Like this time we have two of the same on the bottom here, and it's hard to see which ship is which. At the moment there's only this one because we stunned that one, but you have to mouse over basically to see who's coming first. Sometimes you have three ships with the same icon and it gets really annoying. I wish it was forced that they always have different icons, so you'd see better. And let's see. So another ship here, we have the Ranger, tactical ship. He has a suicide run, which does a lot of damage, and it also does a self-disable at 20% chance and vulnerable. But it also does a disable on the enemy, and it exploits vulnerable. So let's try to stun him. And quite often you do get a stun on them and not stun on you. Very rarely I got stunned myself. And then we have the shock mine here for another stun. So now I've stunned all the enemies, and it's free reign for me until they get out of the stun. My ship has a heal, which are actually uses that refresh after the battle. So if you have multiple stage battle, they refresh after each combat. But you are limited on your healing ability. This Nano Restoration Field is a really damn good healing ability, and it's his class skill, so he might not have that, or not even the stun, which are crazy. And then we have Ablative Armor, which is a heal and heal over time, plus armor, which is actually quite nice ability as well. But we don't need a heal at the moment, so we are just gonna spin the win, do the spin maneuver. This is one of my favorite abilities. It looks so silly, when it just spins, and it does a lot of damage as well, especially with when comboed with this ship. I should have done actually this missile swarm first, inflict a weapon disruption on all of them, potentially, and then do the spin the win. But it's fine. Just do that now. One thing I didn't show is that you have legendary characters in the game as well. And you start with one of the legendary officers. You can choose which class. I chose the engineer here. And his legendary or epic ability is the drone swarm, which is one-time use. A bit different one-time use. This is one-time use until you go back to your base. So these other one-time or use abilities like this one or the heals refresh after each battle, but this epic ability only refreshes when you get back to your base. So you need to, if you are backing like multiple fleets at the same time, without going into your own base between those, you need to decide when you use this drone swarm. And it's something you want to save for a really tough battle. But for the purpose of this demonstration, I'm just going to use my drone swarm here, release the bees. And their stun ran over now. Or ran off, so they are ready to go again. You can see that the enemy ships are getting a bit rough shaped after me shooting them a bit. And let's see, I wanna take out him. You can also right click on the enemies to see information about their ships, 0 combat victories, see their attacks, see their vulnerabilities. Hull breach is really good against these guys, and weapon disruption is not so great. Sometimes you don't see these, especially on the bigger ships. They are hidden. And there's actually quite a lot of variety between the enemy ships and their types. But you mostly do fight the crew all over again. So many times. It might even become boring. My ship there takes a bit of damage. Let's go heal. I also always try to end the battles with full health, because that saves me repair costs. And I'm a cheap bastard, but that seemed to work really well for me. Let's see. Shoot him. Try to take the other one out. I should have probably done the one with the lower HP. Let's see if, yeah, he's gonna die from this. And we can stun him again. Or not, since he resisted my stun. There we go. That's how you do battle in Halcyon 6. You get some rewards, as I said, after the battle. And here we are. This is one of my colonies. It's a crew population. How much they have there? There is 11 crew we can grab from there. There's a maximum amount, and it's generating 3 per day. So I'm just gonna grab those onto my ship, and when I go back to my base, we'll drop them off over there. So that's pretty much how the whole game goes. You go fighting these space battles a lot. And then there's a storyline. It's not randomly generated or anything. It does have a storyline that you follow through, and you have to complete these steps. Like now, enter the cruel spire is my current goal to do, where we do some ground battle, and you just have to basically do what they tell you. There's often a like time limit on them. Like there's a point in the game where they say that this massive fleet is coming, and you have to upgrade your ships before they kill you. So that's like tells you that now is a good time to upgrade your ships. Do this. So it's kind of like guides you to do what you need to do in the game as well, which is nice. But yeah, that's Halcyon 6. I really liked the game myself as I played through the game. It was a damn awesome experience. Took me about 20 hours. Could have taken a bit longer. I very much rushed through the ending part of the game, and I just abandoned the galaxy and just dealt with the enemies. And could have definitely taken a couple more hours at least if I wanted to just save everyone and make friends and allies of all the guys. I felt that the diplomacy part was kind of underwhelming and kind of unnecessary. What you get out of it if you are friends with everyone, or at least with a couple of them, and I didn't really feel that need and urge to actually save everything. If I lost a few things here and there, whatever. And I think I spent way too much time actually taking care of their neighborhood when I could have done more for my own thing and just complete the game quicker. But that's maybe for the next time. Also, as you complete the game, you get this message from the developers that thank you for playing through the game, and etc. etc. And this is their original vision, this version, the launch version, what they visioned at the start of the Kickstarter. But with the Kickstarter, they promised all kinds of new content, new ships, all kinds of events and stuff, upgrades for the game, and the game tells you that those are coming. So we'll be definitely seeing some more improvements over the next year or so to the game, and that will probably warrant another playthrough as well when it gets even more intricate. But if you like a bit of a RPG simulation strategy in one nice, really well done bundle with some awesome pixel graphics and music, I highly recommend this game. It's very well done, very well put together. I also liked the storyline. It was really fun. It surprised me a couple times in several spots. I thought the game was actually much shorter than it ended up being. Like, the story felt like this is the end of the game. Nope, that's like half point of the game. Actually, maybe not even a half point of the game. It's like, okay, I guess there's more. And there was more and then some more. So I was positively surprised with all the storyline content that was in there. Also, I really loved how the alien races were done. Some of their dialogue is superbly well done. So there's some humor and stuff in there that I really like. Some of my favorite races in any space game, to be honest. Yablings, big thumbs up. They are amazing, and Corsans and all of them are great. But anyways, thank you for watching this review of the Halcyon 6. As I said, recommended definitely for picking up. And if you like this review, check out other reviews, Let's Plays, and all the other content on the YouTube channel, and in the curator group as well on Steam. And check out the live stream on nar.tv or twitch.tv/Bellanar, where we play games like this, other builder management strategy games, and a bit of everything every now and then. But anyways, as I said, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time on the next reviews and all the other stuff as well. So, bye bye.